This one took a while. Um, this is a Final Fantasy VII remake review, and to start straight off the bat, I did not think I would be playing this game. In all honesty, me and two of my close friends are very much hardcore Final Fantasy VII fans. Me and Jerry specifically for both the same reason and the opposite reason. He's a Cloud stan. He loves Cloud to hell, and I love Sephiroth. um, but we've always loved Final Fantasy, and when this remake got advertised, he was the one that he's gonna pre-order it. He's gonna get it. He wants the collector's edition. He wants this, that, and when it came to me, it's like, Adam, are you gonna play Final Fantasy Remake? I was just like, nah, I'm good. Because I was under the impression that it's just the original game that I played already. I know the entire story of this thing already. In modern day graphics, I might like a new gameplay concept, but I'm I'm going through a real period where I'm just like really addicted to story-based games. So I'm like playing God of War, uh, Devil May Cry. I did play Destiny 2, even though it's online multiplayer, because I love the lore of Destiny. The lore is fascinating, but the multiplayer aspects average. So I like good stories, and with Final Fantasy, I was just like, I already know the freaking story. I don't need to go back. Anyway, it's been out for a while now, and about a week ago, my mate's just like, you have to play the game. He basically came to me and he's just like, if you have any faith in our friendship and you trust me, play the friggin' game. And this both got me a bit worried and curious at the same time because I'm like, okay, okay. Um, so I borrowed. He has like three PlayStation 4s. So I had mine over here and his, and I was just hooking into his to get the friggin' because I couldn't be bothered paying for the friggin' game. It was a one-off thing that I was gonna play. So I borrowed his PlayStation that had the Final Fantasy on it, and wow, wow is all I can say because it's both a good wow and a bad wow. If we're ticking off all the good things, this game's beautiful. It's as if we had a video game. It's like you took Advent Children, which even by today's standards is a terrific CGI movie. Then you improved Advent Children even further and made it into a video game. It stands Square Enix graphics wise, music wise, is a real testament to what video gaming quality is capable of these days. So it's like we saw that with Devil May Cry. We had a whole new style with Devil May Cry 5. They look less anime-ish and more human. It's something a lot of games are going through. So going for that, I'm not gonna complain. Some of the characters got certain redesigns. It's like you look at Sephiroth's outfit. You can tell they've added stuff on, moved stuff around, but it still feels like him. Um, Lots of characters have that. The fighting mechanics I really enjoyed. It's a very new twist on it. Uh, re- it reminded me a bit of Doom Eternal, where it's very fast paced. It's like here are your group of characters. You can play one of them and switch to the others on your team. And when you're accessing abilities and shit, it goes into a slow motion thing, kind of like when you swap weapons in Doom Eternal. It had that very rapid feel. You had to be aware of your surroundings. You had to be aware of your characters, their abilities. Um, So yeah, gameplay wise, tick, another good thing. I bet you already predict where this is going. The negative is they had Square Enix had to fuck with the story. That's the one thing. I mean, if you talk Final Fantasy in general, all the Final Fantasies, people will like specific ones. You can ask different people; they'll say specific ones are the best. They might say 7, they might say 8, they might say 9, maybe. I don't know. For me, 7 is just something that holds a lot of meaning because, god damn, we put so many hours into that game um, back in PS1 days. But it's like, even with people picking their favorite, everyone acknowledges that Final Fantasy VII is this very rare game. And it's kind of funny that it's got this huge cult following. Everybody loves this game. When in reality, it's about eco terrorists attacking an industry company and the battle of ideology over Mother Nature, an industry, and you throw a little alien in the mix with warriors made from alien DNA. It's Final Fantasy, man. You gotta admit they put good thought into. That's just a very basic summary. You go into the lore, Jesus. It's an amazing game, an amazing franchise, and I don't understand. It's like Square Enix must have like had a choice. They're just like, we can make the game and the lore just like Final Fantasy VII, and just add all the graphics and shit. People are gonna be happy. Some people won't. Maybe they're scared they won't get the sales because like people like me originally. Oh, why do I need to play it, right? If I've already played the game, maybe that is what got in there. Like I was trying to be like, why did they change the story? And I'm like, maybe if they release a game, because essentially it's false advertising as well. Final Fantasy VII Remake is advertised as Final Fantasy Remake. It's like, hey, it's the traditional game remade. That's how they advertised it. Up till the day of the release, that's how they advertised it. And then it's you buy it, you take it home, and you get fucked. Because they lied to us. They changed it. So either they're doing some surprise twist, they're thinking if we change shit up, more people will buy the game. And that also means they will buy the original game. They're probably re-releasing Final Fantasy VII, the original. I don't know how, but I wouldn't be surprised. Because getting your hands on a copy of PlayStation 1 Final Fantasy VII, good fucking luck. Those things are worth a lot of money these days. My mate Jerry has a copy of that. It's worth a lot of money. Um, the only other thing I can think of is ego. They're like, oh, do we want to be the people that just remade an old game? Or do we want to be the people that put our own twist on the game and go down in history as making this cool twist on the game? And I'm starting to think it's that last one. It's fucking ego. And I'm just like, you stupid bastards. Because honestly, the big problem with what they changed in the story, it's something I'm sick of. I'm actually getting sick of time travel, alternate timelines, and humans. Humans. The key element being humans fucking with destiny, fate, and the gods. I'm honestly sick of it at this point. because the more I think on it, this is something that's going into a broader sense. This is something Final Fantasy VII Remake, the Avengers with Endgame. You could even argue some anime do this, like Dragon Ball with the Dragon Balls and shit. It's the perception that that humans have to do what's in our best interest, no matter who the fuck we're up against. It's like we never learn our place as humans. Our core instinct is we have to fuck over whoever we come in contact with because we're better than you. That's the kind of thing I'm getting. It's like in Endgame, in Infinity War, brilliant movie. Congratulations, Avengers, you lost. People got wiped out, and you know what happened? Instead of being humble in defeat, half the world's population is wiped out. Instead of rebuilding, taking advantage of the situation, adjusting to how much resources is left, and building a new society, you turn into fuckwits. You fuck with space time. You travel to an alternate reality, and you risk fucking up all of time and space itself just so you can, oh, we're gonna fix everything. And it's like, there's nothing to fix. You lost. And you just can't take that you lost. So you're fucking with the laws of creation in order to get your way. And this is reflecting back on like 7 now. Because the new thing in Final Fantasy VII Remake is we get introduced to these specters of destiny or fate that kind of look like the Dementors from Harry Potter. And basically, events, for some fucking reason, in this alternate reality of Remake, events are taking place differently, and these specters show up every time something's about to happen differently, and they try to make it like it was in Final Fantasy VII. An Avalanche, Cloud and all that, instead of letting them put Destiny and Fate back the way it is, they're like, fuck y'all, I'm gonna kill your ass and we're gonna make our own Destiny. And I'm like, how do you know what? You can't make your own Destiny. Even if you kill them, who's to say that the Destiny that you create isn't something they've predetermined in a separate timeline? I mean, it's complicated, but it's just like, why do they have to do this? Why do humans have this perception that they're ideally better than every? It's like I swear, if the Christian Bible is 100% correct and their God is right, or even if it's the Muslims with the Quran, if Allah exists, if it's the Jewish version with Yahweh, no matter who it is, whoever God is, if humans ever met God on Earth, we would try to kill the cunt. That's how fucking dumb we are. It's like, oh, we're not gonna listen to you. We don't like the way you do things. We're gonna try and kill you because we make our own fucking destiny. That's how it's the perception, and that's what pissed me off with Final Fantasy. I'm just sick of it. And if we're going into actual detail on little things that pissed me off, is the entire fan base of Final Fantasy who have played Final Fantasy VII, they're pissed off with the ending and they're arguing with each other. Square Enix actually has caused a friggin' war in the Final Fantasy VII fandom because the way the game ends is like Zack and Cloud, right? Walking into the sunset. What you don't know is that Zack was supposed to fucking die. He dies to all the friggin' soldiers that show up. They just keep coming, and they eventually shoot the shit out of him, and he just falls over and dies. And then Cloud finds his body and picks up the Buster Blade, and that's how Cloud gets the Buster Blade. It's a very moving and emotional moment. Instead, he friggin' survives. So you're just like, how does Cloud get the Buster Blade now if Zack's still alive. And the fandom is so mental with this. Half of us, I'm sticking with the side that Zack's alive because we see him walking off. The other half of the fandom is saying, as they walk off, it starts raining. And in the scene in Final Fantasy VII when Zack died, it was raining. And I'm like, what the fuck is the point of showing them walk off, cutting the scene, and then you making the assumption that he's dead 2 minutes later because it starts raining? That war has fucking erupted. And I'm just like, you change things. And it's other things that have got me. Some of Sephiroth's dialogue in this game fucked with my head. Especially when they're at the edge of the creation. Because instead of Sephiroth taunting Cloud, he's kind of like chatting him and like pushing him on. He's like, hey Cloud, you don't know what's coming next. I don't know what's coming next. Let's create something friggin' like fantastic. Or are you gonna win this time? And I'm like, is he a is Sephiroth actually aware of Final Fantasy VII and Advent Children? Because his last word in Advent Children was "I will never be a memory," and the way he talks at the edge of the creation, it's like, "Hey, are you gonna kill me again this time?" And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" It's fucking weird, and like, it's like they fucked up. They fucked it up. They were doing all right for about 75% of the game, and then right at the end, they just had to shit on Final Fantasy altogether. And the one thing that's got me worried whenever the next one comes out, it could be fucking. No, it's not going to be 2 years. It'll probably be 5 to 10 years before you get the next part of this stupid game. I don't. And spoiler. Like, I know I've gone through some spoilers already, but this one's a big one. If you and if you somehow don't know about this, I don't even know why the fuck you're playing the game. Aerith dies. One of the happiest moments. My boy Sephiroth. Die, you ancient bitch! Kills her. I'm really scared that since Zack is alive, and Zack is Aerith's love interest, and the only reason she became a love interest for Cloud is because Zack was dead, and I know that makes her seem like a fucking whore. Hey, my boyfriend's dead, I'm gonna go fuck his apprentice. That's basically the attitude that she has. Which is why I'm glad that fucking Sephiroth he's like, Cloud, you don't want to fuck this thought. Bang, smack, sword right through the friggin' back. um, I'm scared she's gonna survive. I really am scared. It, it's like they're scared to put death in the game. They're really sugarcoating a lot of death in Final Fantasy VII. Like even the way when they go see the boss in the Shinra Tower, they're following like this purple goo shit up to where he is, and he's still alive. He's not actually dead, and you're just like, in the original game, you followed blood up here, and the moment you enter his office, he's dead. Sephiroth killed the boss man. It's like, why? Why are you sugarcoating death in this game? And that raises the question: if the big climax of part two is, are they gonna start killing off characters that are supposed to survive? And it's like, do you really want that? I think out of curiosity, just to know if if Zack is alive or not, I think out of curiosity, people will buy part two of this remake. But part two is gonna determine if people turn on this franchise, this remake franchise. Because if they fuck around like like this, they only did certain things and then they shock you at the end. But in the next one, they're gonna be changing shit and shitting on you straight from the beginning to the end of part two. And the moment they start doing it's basically like the whole second part's gonna piss fans off. So they can't go back to Final Fantasy VII because this is an alternate timeline. And if they're scared to kill people, this game is gonna lose a lot of its meaning. In all honesty, even in some weird way, I can't see Sephiroth at this point in time being evil. It's weird. Like, he's supposed to have a fucking mental breakdown soon. And I'm like, I can't see him having a mental breakdown. Especially after the Edge of the Creation shit. He didn't look like he was someone who's about to have a mental breakdown. He seemed like someone who was enlightened. Um, so I'm struggling with this because I want to give the graphics, the music, the gameplay is all top notch. These are 8 9s out of 10 easy. Even 10 out of 10 with the graphics. Like, this shit is amazing. I and with the negatives of the story, I don't know how I feel because I'm disappointed by the changes because I don't think they're justified in they just seem like random changes they did because they can, not because they had to. I feel like if they were going to change stuff, they should have done so with meaning, and they haven't. And yet, if they just released it the same way, would not have even played the game. So I really am struggling to give a rating for this game. I would say based on safety, I'd give it a 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. But I swear to you, you gotta understand, as someone who's played the living shit out of Final Fantasy VII, someone who owns Advent Children on Blu-ray and DVD, and who's a huge Sephiroth fan, who likes all the soldiers, like Angel, um, Zag, Genesis, and all that, who's into all that type of lore. Zack should have died, man. I'm sorry. I will take a point clearly off, and justify it just for the fact that he's alive. Aerith and Zack dying are shit you don't change in Final Fantasy VII. Save whoever else you want at the Shinra company. I don't fucking care. Wedge and all that. I don't care. But Zack should have died. And even if he dies in the first minute of part two, and they just cock teased it, I see that as a mistake. Like, what the fuck was the point in cock teasing it? So 7.5. I'm sorry. You gotta take points off when they do stupid shit. Or things. Since this is my rating system, I'm taking points off based on what I think was not necessary. And what they've done to the story feels more like they are butchering parts of the story rather than being on the same level